And here we are at Alewife T train station for the beginning of the video of the Central Mass Railroad. We're looking at where the freight cutoff from Somerville Junction came in directly in front of us, and just to the left there is the old Lexington and Arlington Railroad where it came in, and right down here this is where the Central Mass Railroad began. This was mile zero right here at Alewife, which was called North Cambridge, even though technically this is West Cambridge. As you can see, the bike paths being used this morning, especially the Lexington and Arlington. And again, there's the freight cutoff. So this is the beginning of the Central Massachusetts Railroad right here at Alewife T Station. And this begins the big video. So we will continue on to Belmont. Now here in Belmont, right on the Cambridge line, this is what was called Hills Crossing. The bike path, as you see right there, it actually stops here. It doesn't go any further. They're planning on making it go further. We're looking towards Boston and Cambridge on the bike path. The railroad tracks are right next to it. This is the Fitchburg line. And this is the Brighton Street crossing. If any of you have been subscribed to my channel since the very beginning, you will know this was the very first crossing I filmed on YouTube. We're taking a look at it from a different direction. And as you can see, the bike path ends here, but the Central Mass ran parallel to the Fitchburg for many years before abandoning their track and coming in on the Fitchburg. But this is where the Mass Central came in from the freight cutoff and met the Central Mass. It met the Fitchburg, excuse me, and continued to follow it all the way to Waltham. So right down the tracks here is the Belmont Station, which is way down there. Zoom in for you. Don't think we can actually see it, but that's the Belmont Station that was shared by the Fitchburg and the Central Mass. It's way down there. But here we are back at Brighton Street, where my very first YouTube video was ever taken, and it's part of our Central Mass video. And we're at Belmont Station in Belmont, Massachusetts, right in downtown Belmont, which is on the other side of the building. This is the Fitchburg station that is now the commuter station for Belmont. As you see the MBTA sign over there. Over there is where the Central Mass station was. Of course, there's no station over there anymore. This is where the Central Mass stopped here in Belmont. That sound you're hearing is work being done on the railroad tracks. So, I can't go up there. As a matter of fact, there's nothing to see anyway. It's just the Fitchburg railroad tracks. No evidence of the Central Mass at all, but just wanted to get this little building in because it was part of the Central Mass at one time. So this is Belmont Station. And now it's off to Waverly and Waltham. Okay, we are now in the Waverly section of Belmont, little village here, right on the Waltham and Watertown borders. So Waverly's right where the three towns meet, and when Waverly crosses into Waltham, it becomes Waverly Oaks. But Waltham is a city, so there are no villages in a city as there is in a town, which Belmont is a town, so Waverly is a village of Belmont. And there we can see where the grade separation took place because before the 1930s, I believe, I think it was in the 1930s or maybe just after the war in the 40s, they dug this big ditch to force the grade separation because there was a dangerous railroad crossing right where these bridges are. Used to be railroad crossings. And the Central Mass track would be right over on the other side, right on top of there. That's where the Central Mass went across. And the Central Mass continued to cross at grade while the construction was going on, and the Fitchburg trains went down below. And once this Waverly Station was completed, the Central Mass track was abandoned and the Central Mass started to take the Fitchburg tracks. So this is Waverly. This was one stop on the Central Mass. And right up there is where the abandoned railroad would have been, right there. Okay, our next stop will be in Waltham and Clematis Brook. Okay, we're at Beaver Street Station, crossing here in Waltham. This is where the Clematis Brook Station was, and the tracks from here to Hills Crossing were abandoned. And as you see, there was a connection track put in here, and the track is still in place. And as we're going to see from here to Hudson, it's in place in quite a few places from here out to Hudson. This is where the Central Mass cut away from the Fitchburg main line, and but this is where it connected to it and joined it in the 1950s after the Waverly Station was finally finished. And you see this is the right-of-way where the old tracks used to be, right here on the right-hand side. We got construction going on here today, so as they're fixing up the tracks. So of course the Fitchburg line isn't running today. But this is where Clematis Brook Station was. And right over there is where the railroad tracks for the Central Massachusetts used to cross over. So you see the guys there doing their work there, trying to improve the track on the Fitchburg line, which is good. This was a stop on the Mass Central only. The Fitchburg did not stop here, and they do not stop here now. So hopefully this will be an improvement to this crossing, which can be a little tedious. So now to move on to our next Waltham location. You see there's John Rezuke over there, filming for his little documentary he's going to do for the Central Massachusetts. And he's waving. Alright, this is a Clematis Brook Station site at Beaver Street in Waltham. And here in Waltham, near the courthouse, we have the Linden Road, or Waverly Oaks Road, Iron Bridge overpass, where the track came away from the Fitchburg line and ran on its own. And as we pan over here, you can see the mound back here. Let me get my finger out of the way. Zoom back out. And through those trees, you can see the mound where the right-of-way was. So, there is that famous iron bridge here in Waltham, going over Route 60. At one point in Waltham in an apartment complex that was not here when the train was in use, track was in use, excuse me, but the track is still here in pretty good shape. This is looking west towards Waltham Center. As you see, we still have some reminiscence of the old railroad here. See this little milepost. Oh, this milepost is letting the trains know that there is a crossing, I believe. So I guess there was a crossing here at one time, but probably not the crossing that we're seeing. And there's the telegraph pole here, and there are other little goodies along the right-of-way. And as we look down the We look down the path here. See a squirrel who's now trying to make a home here along the railway. There's more people walking along the railroad track. So this is the central Massachusetts here in Waltham. As we can see, going this way, my car, right on top of the crossing. Okay, so we'll just get on the other side of my car and we'll film over there. Okay, now this is looking east back towards the Iron Bridge and Route 60. There's our buddy John. He's just taking pictures for his documentary. So, as we come closer and closer to John. But yeah, this is in Waltham. This is right after the Route 60 bridge as it's heading towards North Waltham Station. As you can see, the trees have grown in over the rails and everything, but trees can be removed. So we can, so nice. It really looks nice. Still in pretty good shape.
There's a post right here, an old tie.
Yeah. There it is. And I guess there was a crossing here because that post back there is for a crossing.
Perhaps an old farm road, perhaps. There's a base for something over here, I noticed. So there could have been some kind of a sign. If you'll notice between the trees here, there's some concrete piers. Nothing else in between, so there could have been some kind of a little sign here.
Oh yeah.
What that sign was is anyone's guess.
Yeah. So here we are at Middlesex Street in Waltham, in the backwoods where a track used to go. Okay, we're here at Lyman Street here in Waltham. As you can see, the Massachusetts Department of Recreation, the DCRs, put up a sign here. They definitely want to put a bike path here where the old Central Mass used to go. So this was a railroad crossing. As we can see, the track's still in place here. Johnny Rezuke again. And isn't that nice? A tree has just grown right in the middle of the right-of-way. Isn't that nice?
It brings me such joy to see these kinds of things.
Yes, and we got some more iron pegs here. Can't figure out what they could have been.
Perhaps maybe the bike trail wants to use them for something.
They look old to me, John. They were used for something. There had to be some kind of structure here. Signal box. That's what I'm thinking. Oops, back up. Well, as we just come down here, we're looking towards where we were before at the complex. As you see, the complex comes all the way out here too. So
right up to the right of way.
Yep, and see, if the MBTA had just kept the trains running, this tree never would have grown. I can tell you, this tree is less than, well, they abandoned it in 1981, so it had a chance to grow since then.
Well, take a look at this one. We got a stop signal here. It still says stop.
Yes, it does.
This would have warned trains of the crossing.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming way back that this was probably a flag crossing.
Yeah. Because I don't see any evidence of any crossing signals here. My car again.
Makes sense why the stop signal is here.
Yeah. Looking back that way. Okay, now let's go look on the other side of the crossing. Okay, now we're on the other side of Lyman Road, and oh, looks like this is where it probably would have gone into double track, and you see another tree starting to grow in the middle of the right-of-way. Come down here. Looks like we were going into double track, or this was a spur. Couldn't tell you which one. Can't tell you which one's the main line, which one's the spur line. But the obviously the switch joint's been taken out. So since this track seems to be a little bit blocked, I'll walk down this track here. And if you look there seems to be another track coming out. So actually there was some customers right around here. I think a lumber company. So these tracks are probably for the lumber company that used to be here. And as we see coming down the now the track becomes double tracked over there. This track here. So I couldn't tell you which one's the main line and which one's the spur lines, but you can definitely tell just by looking here that it was definitely a double track. Double track, some of the rails taken out because there was a lumber company customer here. So, and the trees, which in the last 30-35 years have managed to grow up here. So when they put the bike path in, sayonara to all these trees. They'll become firewood, or they'll be used to build a house or something. So there's the apartment complex. Still looking back, John Rezuke taking his videos. Okay, our next stop is going to be where the North Waltham Station was, and it's now the Waltham Police Station. So, here, I bid you a fond adieu. Okay, here we are at the Lexington Street crossing, which was the North Waltham Station. Or Waltham North, as they said, because we're not really in North Waltham, we're just on the northern side of the actual downtown area of Waltham. Anybody who's read the Central Mass book knows that there's a picture taken right here looking down this same shot that I've got, and it was much clearer with a lot of spur tracks shooting off. There's also a picture of a Budliner car that slid off the tracks here. It was right here. How it was able to get in the position it did without knocking this tree down, I'll never know. But there we are looking across where the old lumber company used to be. As you notice the tracks have been taken out. And the North Waltham Station, I don't think there ever was a station building, but it's gone, and the Waltham Police Station is now here. So this is Lexington Street and the Waltham North Station location. I'm going to turn around and go walk down the track a bit.